Hello everyone, this is Phoenix, and I am going to make a video today to show how to mine all of the IDs for the ever-changing volume of furniture items, recipes, and result items in ESO. So there's a couple things you're going to need. I have a script that I've made, find furniture ID, that I'm going to upload, that you'll obviously need that. Um, Something else you're going to want to have is the pChat add-on. It's in here somewhere. This is really cool for other things also, and IonTier makes so many cool things. But this will let you, without me having to reinvent the wheel to put it into my little script, lets you copy the chat. There's some little things you'll have to be aware of that I'll cover, but get the pChat add-on. You're going to want to have a good editor. I personally I recommend Notepad++ for everything database or programming related, but whatever you feel comfortable with. If you use some Linux-based type tool, that's fine. The main reason I use this is because you can set up macros with it, so you don't have to keep doing, manually editing the same bulk thing over and over. You can set a macro if you want to like replace certain text in this place, in this place, in this place, and just replace those groups of text over and over and over again. You can record that to a macro and then just either hit a combination of keys or just select it from your list, and it will apply that formatting to the whole file instantly. It's really convenient. So I'd recommend it. It's a freeware program, Notepad++. It's industry trusted. There's no malware. It does auto check for updates, but you can turn that off in the settings really easily. There's no downsides. It's the greatest editor ever, so get that. And then you'll want a database editor, something basically capable of editing .csv, comma separated values database files. And they're not, comma separated values aren't really database files. They're just files like these are fields. See how they're separated by A, B, C, D columns and 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. These columns, when you have a file that's comma separated values, it'd be like they're separated by a comma. So 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If this was my comma separated value, this would end up here like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the commas are separated by the columns are separated by commas. So each thing between a comma goes in its own column, and then of course you can have like rows of things. So that's why you need Excel, because we're going to export the things we get, format it so that it's a comma separated value, open it in Excel to edit it. So you can also use, this is just my old version of like Office 2003 or something, but you can use, I think, OpenOffice, which is a free Office program developed by Sun, which is I think they also make Java, but they're a huge trusted company and were originally in the open source community. But they made the this Office, OpenOffice is really good. It's basically like Windows Office. It does everything that it does, but it's free. So you can get that if you don't have Office. So that's pretty much the tools you're going to need. So what you want to do is you want to go into the game. Um, it helps if you create a new chat channel and just call it something. I called mine S, and then just turn everything off, right? So turn off say. Pretty much the only thing you want is system. I think you need that to get the debug output that this mod creates. Let me check mine real quick. Hello, remove tab. Yes. Okay. Um, so basically, I did leave. I'm not sure why the hell I left say and tell and emote on. People could say me in the middle of my crap, but system is the only real thing that's important to leave on. And what you want to do is the furniture, find furniture by ID, FFID is the command. If you just enter it with no command switch, with no actual input, just FFID/FFID, and hit enter, it tells you how to use it. It basically says you have to type FFID, then a space, and then a number, 1 through 6. So, and if it's 1, it means you're looking for alchemy patterns, furniture patterns that are in the class of alchemy stuff. 2 is blacksmithing, 3 clothing, 4 enchanting, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it works. So say I wanted to export all of the alchemy furniture stuff so that I could, put it into my add-on or whatever. I would just do FFID space 1. And it's going to take its little time, and it's going to spit out a whole bunch of crap. And basically what that is saying, and then when it's actually done, you'll see it say finish searching at the bottom. So what this is doing is it's finding the item ID of the recipe, and then it's giving you the item ID of the item, the actual furniture item that recipe makes. It's telling you that it's alchemy, and then it's telling you what the quality of it is. It's obviously it's purple, but you can see it here in the link, but in the text file it helps to have it say that. And then 4 is just actually the number equivalent of what the quality is. It's not really relevant. It's used by the add-on internally. But basically what you want to do after you get this big output here is right-click. I usually right-click on the finish searching, but any line that isn't an actual clickable link like these, any part of that text output, so I just right click on finish searching. pChat lets you copy stuff, so I would copy channel talk, and the reason is because if you copy whole chat, it copies all of your chat tabs, and you don't really want your guild chat and your zone chat interspersed with your stuff. So just copy the channel talk. That's why you made a silent channel, so that you only had the stuff that you're working on in it. So copy channel talk, and it's going to now the reason this is all got 3 pages of crap in here is because this is one of those little caveats that I needed to mention. Each time you do an output, you have to reload the UI, and you can type /reload UI. My chat window manager has a reload button hooked into the chat, but it doesn't really matter how you do it. You have to reload the UI because pChat doesn't clear the contents of the previous channel copy when you make a new one. So if you are doing it one by one, first outputting alchemy, then outputting blacksmithing, when you output alchemy, the first thing you output, it's just going to have the alchemy. But when you go and then try and output the blacksmithing, it's going to, when you copy the channel, it's going to have all the alchemy stuff, and then the blacksmithing will come after. And pretty soon you're going to have like 20 pages of crap that you have to scroll through. So just after you output something, reload the UI. So here is the alchemy stuff. Finish searching, copy channel talk, and see now it's only 1 page because I don't have pages and pages of crap. So you Control C to copy or hit the copy button. Control V or right click and paste to paste in your text editing program. I'm going to delete the finish searching thing. I have formatted this text in such a way that there is only a couple of edits that you have to do. Select ID space $, and then hit the replace button, or whatever your text editor does to replace, and then so replace ID space number with blank. Make sure there's no spaces in there, just blank, and then replace all. Okay, it's going to get rid of those. Okay, that's the first thing you have to do. The next thing is to get rid of these. And these you have to, when you hit replace, replace them with a comma and hit replace all. And then let's see, I think that, the other thing is colon space left bracket. You want to replace that with a comma. And then bracket, right bracket, you just want to get rid of it. Replace it with nothing. So you see how that's kind of a pain in the ass? I mean, it's easy to replace all, but it takes, okay, so what I did is, and I forgot to delete that line too. Basically, you only want the lines that are actual IDs. What I did is I went into macros with Notepad++ and I started recording before I did all those. And then I went ahead and I did all that stuff to get it, in the format that I actually wanted it. And then stopped recording and gave that a name, so that now all I have to do is go to macro and format, or whatever you call it, and it will do all that formatting in one in one process. And this, I'm trying to remember why I did this. Oh, I think I did that because these were originally commas. So because comma separated values will separate fields, I wanted this to be the same field, but I wanted there to be some way for me to know that there was a comma there before. So one of the things I edited was also to replace commas that were actually in the names already with a character that I could replace later with an actual comma, like when I go into my add-on and wanted to give these names. Um, so that's why that's that. But basically, you just want the fields separated like this for your Excel, and then but what you basically do is save this as a CSV file, and you just type it manually. You don't even have to select the type, and just save it to someplace. So t.csv. Go into your database program and hit open, and select comma separated values or whatever one has cs.csv in the list, and you'll see your T or whatever you called it there. Open that up. And then you can double click on the edges of these columns to expand the fields so that you can see everything in them. It expands it to the biggest size in that column. And then basically just give it a quick glance. You will see that certain things have errors. There's no real problems with alchemy. Just make sure each column has something like appropriate in it. And so I know that blacksmithing has some ZeniMax errors. So I'm going to go ahead and reload the UI and export blacksmithing as an example, because this is not a good example because alchemy is actually all legit. So, but you can see here it splits it into this left column A is the item ID of this, the formula, the recipe that makes the thing. Column C is the item ID of this, which is the item that's actually made. They're all alchemy. There are some little glitches in ZeniMax's stuff where they misclassify certain things, or like a blacksmithing thing, instead of called a diagram, it'll be called a recipe or something weird like that. Those are just visual text typos from ZeniMax. So you can report them, but there's not really anything that add-on authors can do about it. So these are and this is the quality level. What you can also do, which is really cool, is you can click on a column header. Say I wanted to sort this by the quality level. I can then go into data, sort, expand the selection. I think that's, yeah, you want to do that because that'll select everything. You just hit sort, and you can sort by a column, and then you can sort then by another column, ascending or descending. So say I wanted to first sort it by the quality level. So that's column F. And once I had them sorted by quality level, now keep in mind it's probably not going to be alphabetical. I could probably add like an A dash fine, B dash superior, but whatever. And then I wanted to sort them by name, so then I would choose column D, which is the one that has the name that doesn't start with formula. So, and then I hit OK, and you're going to see like all of the Epic stuff is now grouped together, and it's sorted alphabetically. So it's starting with A, B, blah blah blah. Then it goes to fine. Fine is alphabetical. So that allows you to manipulate this stuff for putting it into your add-on really easily, which is handy. So I'm going to go ahead and go into here and output the blacksmithing stuff, which is 2. And this will take not too long, but there's more blacksmithing stuff than alchemy by quite a bit. I think woodworking actually has the most. Copy channel talk. So yeah, there's 2 pages of blacksmithing stuff. So basically what you do when there's more than one page, I'm just going to reuse this file, delete everything that's in here, paste that in there, and you can see already that there's something, oh, that's because it gets cut off. Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to show you. When there's multiple pages, it will just get cut off right in the middle of the page. Like, see, you can see this is supposed to be the rest of an ID here. It just got cut off there. All you do is just go back, hit next, Control C to copy that, copy the next page. Right where you left off, you don't have to hit enter or anything, just Control V and paste that, and it'll paste the rest of it. So that's how you deal with multiple pages. And then, delete anything that isn't actually an item ID, usually at the bottom or the top. And then, so there it is. And you format it. Again, I'm going to use my macro to format it with comma separated values. I'm just going to save because I already have that file there. So I'm going to open up that file, and here's my stuff. Now I know there's some errors that ZeniMax has made with blacksmithing. So what you do when you scroll through here is you're going to see, like here, okay, you notice it right off because there's something missing in this column. What happened here is that ZeniMax has created a pattern with an ID, but that pattern doesn't actually have any item that it creates. So it's a glitched pattern, and I'm guessing that this probably doesn't drop in the game. This is something that is mined, but it doesn't actually. It's probably not in the game. So basically, what you do is you just right-click on that column and delete it, and then scroll down, see if there's any other glitchy stuff. I think there was one other problem in blacksmithing. What was that? Something else that I wanted to say to be careful of is, okay, you see how all the blacksmithing stuff says diagram? If you scroll up here, you'll see that, okay, no, that's not it. Design. Okay, so this is one of the things where it's, as long as it has an ID for the recipe and an ID for the output item, and everything's got something in its column, it's probably good. But you do probably want to report things like this to ZeniMax, because this Breton urn lid, it's in the game and it is classified as blacksmithing. So you make it at a blacksmithing station, and the recipe is classified in the game when you query with add-on commands in the API to say, hey, what kind of thing is this pattern? It'll say this is blacksmithing, but they have a typo in the name where it says design. Design is actually, I think, I can't remember honestly. It's like clothing or something. Each of the different types have different, like praxis, I think, is enchanting. Everything pattern for enchanting stuff will say praxis in front of it. Cooking stuff will all say recipe. Blacksmithing stuff will all say diagram. I think clothing stuff all says design. Anyway, this is obviously misnamed, but it's just a name typo. It doesn't affect the behavior. It's still made at a blacksmithing station. It's just, if you run into these, take a second to report them to ZeniMax so they fix them, just because if you're obsessive and you like everything to actually be right, then typos will, be like a nervous twitch. So yeah, that's just what that is. I thought there was another typo or another bad thing in here, but I guess not. I guess that's pretty much it. So that's, I mean, and then obviously what you do with it from here, that's totally up to like your unique add-on use. For me, I use it for master recipe list. So if you go into master recipe lists tables, you can kind of see in the furniture folder some examples of how I've done it. But say like for blacksmithing, what I have done is I have created tables for each of the quality levels, and that's just because, like, if you go into my master recipe list add-on, that's just how I happen to have, made it. Like if you go into furniture, I have it so that you can look at, say, like just the white quality blacksmithing stuff, just the green quality blacksmithing stuff, etc. So I needed a way to break it into tables, so that was really simple. I just broke it into tables. I also gave it a, there's some other stuff here that is not really relevant. Basically, all that is you're seeing here is this is like a generic string that is used to create a link in the chat like this, with the item ID that you get from the output. From like here, like this is the item ID for the pattern, this is the item ID for the item. So if you wanted to make a string that would, if you pasted it into chat, if you wanted to make a string where this item ID, you could get the link for this item here without actually having the item, all you have to do is create this string here with the quotes and the pipes, and just like you see it, and then just replace this number right here with the ID, whatever it is. And then when you paste that into chat, that's going to give you the link for that actual item. the internal link handler will actually generate that link for you. So my add-on is using these strings to generate links, mostly because I have the ability to, oops, damn, let me scrunch this back down because I'm done working with that. You can shift click stuff in here and it will put a link. You can also switch to viewing the show the recipes or show the result. So if I wanted to get the link for the recipe, I just switch to having the tooltips show, and I've got my tooltips off. So I can switch to see here is right now it's showing the item that's actually created. Now if I click on this, show recipe in tooltip, it's going to actually show the recipe for that item instead. So depending on what's showing in the tooltips, what I have toggled to show in the tooltips, now if I were to shift click on this, it's going to put the recipe in the chat. And if I were to paste those, if I were actually to hit enter and put those in chat, I could click on them just like any other link, and I would see the pop-up tooltip. So it's useful for generating clickable links. That's what this is. But whatever you do with the data that you get from the add-ons, that's totally up to you. I did cover how to sort by. You can sort by IDs. You can sort by like any number of columns pretty much that you want. You could first sort by, I think Excel, my version of crappy old Excel, it gives you a few. I'm not sure how many OpenOffice gives you. I don't really usually need to sort by anything other. I just sort it by, I highlight the quality column and I usually just sort it by that. Expand selection. So I usually just sort it by column F, and then I'll sort it by like name. That allows me to really easily have all of the say like purple quality stuff all in one group, and then I can use that to make whatever tables that I want. And then it's got it alphabetized, which is also handy. So that's pretty much all the sorting that I do with it. And I see normal stuff is just the white stuff. I have that in there too because there actually are a few white patterns. And that's pretty much it. Just keep an eye out when you get it into Excel for empty columns. Things that are glitched, make sure you remove those. If there's anything basically that has no ID for the pattern or no ID for the result. The most of the glitches and the broken items that I found in ZeniMax's stuff is basically a pattern that probably isn't actually even in the drop tables in the game because people would have reported it not working by now, that has an ID for the pattern but doesn't actually have an ID for what it makes. Again, when you encounter those, report those to ZeniMax. Give them the ID, tell them the name of the thing, and say, hey, this pattern doesn't actually make anything. Then they'll fix it. But make sure you see that when you're making your add-on so that you can right-click on that row and delete it so that you don't put it in your add-on. And that is how you farm all of the recipe IDs. And the Morrowind patch added a crap ton more. It practically doubled the number of furniture stuff that there was. So master recipe list is updated with all that, but you can use this little data mining tool to pull all those IDs so that you can update your add-ons real easily without having to constantly I mean, I don't even know. I think back in the day, I was going to guild stores and filtering the results and just searching, and then just yeah. Don't even do it to yourself, man. Just so that's how that works. If you have any questions or comments, I will put the link in the description to the little script that I am using, and that should be all you need. So have fun.